Okay, it is 6 o'clock, and I'd like to call the Long Lake Township Board meeting to order. The date is November 13th, 2014. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Linderson.
Here.
Meany. Here. Shaw.
Here.
Garvin.
Here.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes, you're
And it's noted that Blake was absent and excused.
Thank you. I would like to introduce Ann Wendling at this time. She does our recording secretary through the cloud, but she happened to be in the area passing through and thought she'd stop by tonight and take them in person. So we appreciate that and we welcome you.
Did she come on the cloud?
I don't know.
Today?
Item 4 is public comment. Would anyone like to speak under public comment at this time? Yes, Peter.
Yes, thank you. Pete Cernhelt, 1613 Outer Drive West. In the packet I received earlier in the week, I know it's on your agenda, is the issue of the DTE Energy Natural Gas Franchise Agreement.
Yes.
And it wasn't in the packet, and I wrote an email, and Carol tells me that she emailed it. So she wrote me this morning and said she hadn't received it yet. And I didn't realize she had sent it to me this afternoon. I was busy. But at any rate, I guess I would request that it be removed from the agenda and put on the next meeting. So you have the opportunity to look at this document and comment on it. I just received it just now. So I would request that you simply make a motion to do that. In a quick look through it, I don't see any, other than paying the township for its out-of-pocket costs, I don't see any consideration that the township's getting for giving this franchise. I mean, that would be a comment that I would make just in a quick look through it. But it seems to me the township should get some financial incentive for a franchise that is granted. And that would be my initial look at it, but I would request that it be taken off the agenda for this meeting and put on to another meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. When we come to that agenda item under new business, I guess that can be a consideration that the board will make at that time. Any other public comment at this time? If not, we will move on to the consent calendar.
Under consent this evening, we have the Township Board minutes of October 14th regular meeting, Treasurer's report dated 9/30/14, Zoning Department report, Grand Traverse County Road Commission report, Grand Traverse Fire report, Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Department, Planner's report, and correspondence. Does the board wish to have any of those items removed for further consideration?
Because there was an error in the Township Board minutes, I would request that the Township Board minutes be removed and put under pending business item 10A. We just need to remove a couple lines as a duplicate, but it needs to be handled properly. Anything else? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar with that amendment?
Madam Chairman, also moved.
Support. Linderson and Manning. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Item 6 is approval or amendment to the agenda. The only amendment would be to remove the minutes and add them to under pending business A minutes. Any other changes? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Manning?
Support.
Shaw? Any other discussion? All those in favor? I'm sorry.
Question, Pete asked that
Oh,
DTE be removed.
I thought, well, I was just thinking that we could wait till we got to that
Okay.
point and then make the decision, do we want to act on it or do we want to remove?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Is there I'm sorry, we do have a motion by Maney, supported by Shaw. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Is there anything on the agenda that would be a conflict of interest to any board member? Hearing none, we will move on to the second public comment. Anyone else like to speak at this time?
I guess the one other comment I would make is that I can't believe this board has had a chance to look at this franchise agreement, having, I don't know when they received it, but certainly wasn't in the packet, and so that's another reason why I would request that it be taken off, moved to the next meeting.
Okay. Okay, special reports. Commissioner Wheelock is absent tonight, and we do have, I have a written Station 10 report, and then we have a demonstration that fire department people would like to give at this time. But let me just give you a run count for October. We had 30 runs. The breakdown is 3 PIAs, 20 medical, and 4 fire. So this evening we have our rural fire chief, Theo Weber, here. We have our Captain John Brown, our Lieutenant Chris Magera, and we have Chris Dornbos with us. So we have a good number of fire people here with us. So however you want to do that, let's do it.
Thank you for allowing us to come and demonstrate this cutting edge piece of life saving equipment. We're fortunate to get it. It was at the request of a grant that we proposed to the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawas, and they awarded us 2 of these devices. They're about $14,000 a piece. I've used them in the past in City Fire. They have a tremendous effect on the outcome of the patient. I've seen it, and we're getting very positive results from it. And we'll have, who are you going to have demonstrate this? There's some benefits to this. It does perfect CPR from the time we put it on to the time it's turned off. We don't have to occupy people in doing that CPR. It makes it safer for our responders so that we don't have to do CPR in a moving ambulance going to the hospital. This device does it for them. They can put it on. It does perfect CPR all the way to OR if it needs to be. It can go for 4 hours perfectly. When you're doing manual CPR with responders like us, we get exhausted and very quickly, and we're changing people out every minute. And every time you change somebody, you lose the effectiveness of the inner thoracic pressure of CPR. So with this, we have that extra benefit. So it's actually, with this tool, it's like freeing up 3 people on the scene to do other functions to expedite the movement of the patient off the scene. Any other comments about it?
I think
the benefit.
Stole all my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Very sorry.
I just want to bring a couple of points about the perfect CPR and what CPR basically were telling us is the compression on the chest. If you think of the heart as a pump, and you're pumping the pump, you're keeping the blood circulating. Therefore, through the lungs and the organs, you're perfusing the blood or adding oxygen to the blood, which keeps your brain and organs alive as much as possible. Not every heart attack can be reversed, okay? Not everyone is this Lucas device is going to work on. But the perfection of the compression keeps the pump lubed and going until someone turns it off, whether they revive the patient or they call the patient, okay? So after that, that's pretty much what he said is it. It's a great piece of equipment.
So we're going to do a real quick demonstration for you of how this goes on, and I'll talk through it while you guys go ahead and do that. And I'll snap a couple of pictures because I'd like to send a thank you note and some pictures to the Grand Traverse Band.
This is our big
donation of these wonderful devices.
This is Chris Clean. We got him about 30 years ago. He was state of the art. Now he's obsolete. So we're using him as our patient, our victim. Okay. We come across a victim. We lay this back pad approximately up to his armpits. Okay. By doing that, it almost allows for perfect placement of the device. Our Victor usually doesn't jump around on us. Okay? So it's on. Okay? He's now adjusting the plunger. Okay? And then you're ready to go. And in our situation, we have two choices. We can do a continuous pump, or we can do a 30 and 2 pump. In other words, 30 compressions and 2 breaths. So it stops. There's a pause long enough for us to get 2 breaths. When the patient is intubated by paramedic personnel, you don't have to stop the compression because they can breathe right through the tube. Therefore, you're going to put it on continuous. So you hit the button and it turns it on. And that's it. These straps here, we can put the patient's arms up in the straps, and it keeps the arms up out of the way. Paramedic can still administer drugs through veins, whatever they need to do, feel pulses and whatnot. This now can stay with this patient, however we pick him up, right on him, right from the time you find him to the time he's in the hospital and someone says turn it on. Okay, for whatever reason maybe.
So it can be put on a patient in less than 30 seconds. We took our time here, and it's on quickly, and it stays with the patient. We can move the patient quickly. We used to have to stop CPR when we picked up the patient to get him on the cot or get him through a doorway. We don't have to anymore.
And as soon as you stop CPR, the pump drains.
Yep,
And
you
have to-
lose
then
what
you have
you
to build
gain.
up that pressure again.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Can we cheat and talk about the new protocols that are coming through with transporting, or we're going to stick strictly with the?
We'll stick with this,
Okay.
but we do have some new CPR guidelines coming out. They're always changing. The American Heart Association is always looking to improve that. But again, this device takes out the human element of it, that when we're doing compressions, they may not be equal, they may not be as deep, depending on how strong the person is and how tired they are after a while. So it automates the process, and again, moving the patient where we normally would stop to move the patient down a flight of stairs, we have compressions that are continuously being applied. So
Does the size of the person, or
No,
does
they
that
can-
matter, the
no.
weight, or
Extremely
the
small
person?
people, okay, we've been told, I haven't experienced it yet, but we've been told by a person that does use them, extremely small people, it will read an error because it's not compressing properly and it'll stop. So there you go, back to the manual.
As long as we can fit that device around the patient, we're good. So we obviously, the morbid obese, we can't.
Person.
In
Yeah,
our,
okay.
we have this space to work with.
Gotcha.
But it's easily transported. And what it will do, in large degree, also, it helps us with reduce the anxiety level of responders coming in. That's one less thing that they have to do. We can focus on applying the defibrillator because that's important for us to restart that heart again. But the compressions are going, and now we can focus on moving the patient, getting him to the cot, transporting them to the ED.
Is this a brand new invention, or just something we just recently?
we've been using them in the region for about 2 years now. It's new to rural. These were our first 2, and we placed them, one here because you didn't have one, and one in another station that didn't have one. The other 3 stations have ambulances with them on them. So strategically, we've got them placed throughout the county now, so.
But have these been around other places for a
There
long time?
have been other devices, different brands and through development, but this is the one that seems to have hit the mark and seems to have captured everybody's attention. It's so easy to use, it's very user-friendly, and it's very effective.
I just wondered if sometime down the road they might, make it adjustable or something for larger, smaller people.
Sure.
Yeah, this has a good range of, typically we're working with adults generally that are in that condition, that have
Well, I
led
was
years
thinking a lot
of.
of people that have heart attacks are much larger adults, though,
Yeah.
so that's why
Yeah.
I wondered if it was.
I have not run across anyone that I couldn't get it out. But there is that person out there. Yeah.
That's
That's
amazing.
great.
It's
very-
great technology,
Very
and
nice.
we look for our survival rate to increase.
Yeah.
So we have 2 in the department then,
2 within rural.
through the
yeah.
grant program.
Through the
that
grant,
we're
we
able
were
to-
granted $28,000 from the Grant Coverage Band to buy 2 of these. And the next round of grants, we may get more. We'll see, we
That's
keep
really-
asking, yes.
That's
Yep.
really
And I just want to compliment your troops here. They recently had a full recovery from a patient. I
Wow.
can't say who or why or how, but the person's walked out of the hospital, right?
A walkout, which
It
is,
wasn't related to this
We didn't
machine.
have this,
We didn't
did we?
have this. They did it old
We
school.
got this a
and
week
did
later.
Great job.
I heard that.
But you're going to see a high rate of recovery with these. We've experienced that throughout the area.
Great.
Yep.
That's good.
Could I ask a
Peter?
question? Do you manually set the pressure, or is it, or, I mean, how do you compensate between somebody's big boned? or,
Yes.
uh,
It's auto sensing when we apply it.
see it pop up?
Yeah.
When we turn the power on, okay, it's doing it, then we have another button that adjusts the plunger. You just put it on there, okay?
It just.
Oh, so you manually do the first stroke?
We manually put it to the
It
chest,
reproduces that, huh?
and then when you turn it on, it reads it.
Compression should
Oh,
be,
okay.
yeah, compression should be between 1.5 and 2 inches. And once you calibrate it to the chest, it will continue to do those 1.5 to 2 inch compressions.
It doesn't like Chris clean, okay? I'm surprised this worked this long. Usually it goes about 30 or 40 seconds and then quits because the compression on Chris is wrong.
What's very nice is when you need to stop it, it's just a push of a button. You can check a pulse. If we've got return of spontaneous respirations or pulse, you can check that. You can apply medications, do your intubations or start IVs, whatever. It's just an instant stop, check, and it goes right back to it. It's very, very,
That was actually my next question is, if the person has their own pulse, if this thing continues going, does it matter?
well, we don't want to do that generally. When
Right.
we'll check for pulse, periodically, and when we find one, depending on the rate, we will stop it
Just curious.
and leave the machine in place in case we have to use it, if it falls back into a pulseless person.
So that battery charged, or you keep it charged?
It's a battery operated,
Very impressive.
and that battery is good for 4 hours. So we keep it charged. We have 2 per device, so one's on a charger and one's in the device.
Okay.
Yeah.
Central
Makes
plunger.
sense.
The other thing is, we noted, if for
Oh,
some
okay.
strange
Why don't you
reason,
just be done? No, I'm sorry.
set the plunger, pause, and continue to 32.
Are they doing breaths anymore? I heard last time I was, are they
Still,
still?
I know,
It's just-
they're talking about it.
Yeah, okay, because when that last first aid course I had at work, they said, well, breaths are not going back to it.
You will see progression in
Different things.
CPR with breathless CPR.
Yeah.
The compressions on the chest is creating enough thoracic pressure to exchange enough air that you won't need to do the breaths. Of course, there's the infection control part of that too.
Yeah.
But they found that it's very effective without the breaths as
Yeah,
well.
that's
So
why I was told.
if in doubt,
Yeah.
press that chest.
Yeah.
At least 100 times a minute now is the recommendation. It's really fast.
No wonder you get tired.
Yes, yeah, very quickly. So thank you for allowing us time to
Thank
show
you
you
for-
this.
Thank you,
Yeah,
that was
it's
very,
great.
very good.
Very interesting.
Got one
Very,
more.
very wonderful piece of.
One more plus for Long Lake. Recently, there was investment of about $10,000 into your radio tower to improve the communications out here. So we've got much improved pager activation and much improved radio communications out here now. So,
We've had
yeah,
that problem for a long time.
I'm not saying it's a total fix, but
But
it's
yeah,
much
but it's
improved from what it is.
Good.
They found that the antenna was actually pointing in the wrong direction, and they put a new transceiver, a new transmitter, a new receiver on the tower, and it's made a great difference for you. So,
Is it up and running yet? I know
Yes.
last week it was. you said
it's up
this
and
week.
running. It's not, they can't monitor it from central, but you should be able to getting improved communications. I
Cool.
did some testing of it today and seemed like it was working fine.
Excellent.
Thank you again.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, we will move on to our pending business, and I did add the minutes. What happened on page 4 of our minutes, something came over twice from the bottom of page 3, so we just need to eliminate the first 2 full lines and number 41 at the very top of page 4. So if we could make that correction, because it's a duplication from the page prior. If I could have a motion to approve the minutes with that change.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with that change.
Okay,
I'll support.
Good job. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Page 2, isn't it?
Motion is carried. Okay, moving on to new business, we have a proposed road name, and that goes back to the Cedar Run cottages that we had in our packet last month regarding a situation, and now they would like us to approve the road name of Cedar Condo Court. And according to the Grand Traverse County GIS system, Rainer Reichert has said that name would fit within their guidelines, but they have to have approval from the Township Board for that name. Anyone see a problem or concern?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposed road name of Cedar Condo Court for the development of Cedar Run cottages.
Support.
Mamie and Winterson? Any conversation, any concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, you have in front of you the DTE Energy Natural Gas Franchise Agreement. I understand what Peter is saying because the reason it was late getting to us is because I think Carol has been working on this for about 3 years now. I'm not
Going on
kidding.
3 years.
I am not kidding a bit. And between going back with Jim Young, our attorney, to their attorney, to the person representing DTE, it has taken this long to come to this agreement. And so, you know, Carol, you have a better handle than I.
I think that, they have hammered this out, and there is no leeway on going anywhere else with this. This is the bare minimum that DTE will accept. We've been through a multitude of attorneys that they've, gone through over the years. But this is the bare minimum that they will accept. This is the end of the line with this franchise agreement. So we were able to pare it down from 30 years to 15 years, which,
That's a real accomplishment, I think.
30 years, who knows what's gonna happen in 30 years. But this is, in my mind, there is no give and take on this. So
When you made the comment that we don't get funds, we get Metro Act monies that is for our utilities within the township. We get that once a year from the state. That includes the gas and the electric and whatever. So we do get some funds. It comes from the state. I'm not sure what that formula is, but there is monies that come into the township, and I'm not remembering exactly, is it like 34,000 or something?
The total that we
The
have right
total.
now? Yeah, it's probably in that area. I think it's about 12 grand a year, a little over, isn't
Probably, but.
Balance is probably
Yeah,
at
and,
34.
but we have to use that specifically
For
for
roads.
roads or road right-of-ways and that type of thing, but that's, so, I guess a part of this, we do get some funds from the Metro Act, it's called Metro Act Authority, so.
Well, the long and short of it, if they're going to give us franchise money, guess what? All of our gas bills are gonna go up, some have to cover that. So,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, and I guess part of this Metro Fund is actually for the use of their lines and
Right.
whatever that they have in each township, so. I have to agree with Carol, we've battled this for a long, long time, and,
we have had numerous meetings and going back and forth, and in my mind, this is it. we don't have anywhere to go but where we are.
We
If we
thought-
want to get it done.
And we thought we were set about a year ago, and then DTE changed attorneys, and we basically started all over, so.
They started with more restrictions and Jim's looked at this and he reluctantly agreed, but he understands why they're kind of like a unique entity. You know, because of their gas lines, they're different than electric lines. They're different things to be considered, and who should be in charge of those. And we went through the fire department with John. We sat with John and said, okay, does this make sense to you, some of these things that they were proposing? So, in my mind,
The Consumers Power is waiting because that franchise agreement is also expired, and they're waiting to see what this is so they can kind of mirror it after that.
I
Is
think
my
it'll be a
understanding.
little more loose than the gas lines are.
Yeah.
But I think we're probably where we need to be, or as good as we can be. Maybe not ideal, but as good as I think we can be.
So, it's up to the board, what their wishes are.
Well, in my opinion, I think enough research has been done that we can probably move forward on this. And it sounds to me like Carol and Karen have definitely done their homework on it, and I trust their opinion.
Is that a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve it.
And this would be an ordinance number 138 of 2014, Township of Long Lake Gas Franchise Ordinance. Is there support for that motion?
I'll support that.
Lennerson? Is there further discussion? Any of the rest of you have a comment or concern?
Same thing, you guys been doing a lot of work on it, I'm sure that's what you wanted to do.
Because this is an ordinance, I will ask for a roll call, please.
Shaw.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Garvin.
Yes.
Manning. Yes. Hoffman.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes. Motion is carried. Okay, we move on to payment of bills.
We have a check register report, it's the gold sheet, and it's checks 32504 through 32536 in the amount of $38,176.98. Are there any questions that I might address for you?
Yeah, Twin Parks, that's just stuff right here for the parking, right?
What number are you?
That is, see, 2720 vendor number,
Okay.
Twin Parks and East and
Township.
North Township.
Township
Parks,
parks, the
yeah.
parking lot.
Parking lot here and over there.
Joe's
Okay.
right.
That's the design
That's
service.
exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will be putting that out for bid. When we talked to Dan Wagner about writing an RFP for us, and he said, you probably should wait 3 or 4 weeks because everybody's so busy right now trying to wrap up the end of the year things for them but we want to get on the calendar to get it done first thing in the spring. So we have time to do that, but that will be forthcoming to you guys.
I'll make a motion to pay the check register report, check number 32504 through 32536, a total of $38,176.98.
Garvin?
Support.
Supported by Shaw. Is there further discussion? Roll call, please.
Garvin.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Then we have the vendor approval summary report. It covers checks 32537 through 32569 in the amount of $40,383.6252. And if there are any questions I might answer for you, I can certainly try and do that for you.
Questions on the claims?
I'll make a motion to approve the vendor approval summary report for checks 32537 through 32569 for the amount of $40,383.52.
Shaw? Is there support?
Support.
Garvin? Any other questions, concerns? Roll call, please.
Shaw,
Yes.
Garvin,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Amy. Yes. Hoffman.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes. Okay, being there is no other business before us, we are adjourned at 6:30. Wow.